Apologies for that. Something came up and I had to stop the stream quickly. What I was saying was, I've seen a lot with US channels that seem to be getting a lot of movies, like releases and stuff, and all they do is moan and complain and just talk about how the Blu-ray is better than the 4K, or comparing the DVD, the Blu-ray, and the 4K, just to point out that there's a very small, minor difference between the uncompressed audio and bitrate of the Blu-ray compared to a Blu-ray that was released 2 years later of the same film but by a different company. Just, it's so frustrating when you click on these videos because you think, oh, maybe it'll be an insightful look at the product and the film, when all it is just moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning. That's all we seem to find from these US channels, who believe for some reason they think they're owed something because they do these reviews of these products. Just review the movie first, review the film first, then just say, oh, the film's really good, picture quality could be a little bit better, blah 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 blah. We don't need you to bash every single thing. You're meant to be champions of physical media, but you seem to be hating everything that gets released because it's not up to the standard that it should be. They say, well, don't pay $200 for a fucking ridiculously overpriced version or release of The Never-Ending Story, a film which has absolutely no reason to come in a box that looks like the book from The Never-Ending Story. It's The Never-Ending Story. I mean, I've got it on Blu-ray. Just release a regular 4K. The problem is that we are suckers when it comes to being physical media collectors. We are massive suckers when it comes to that, because if someone shows us something shiny, we're going to be like, ooh, I need that, I need that, I need that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I saw a post on Facebook today. Someone was selling the 4K release of Nightmare on Elm Street, the UK one. It wasn't the thin slipcase version, it was the collector's edition one. It was something like number 3 of 27,300. And he was like, oh, I don't know the value of this, can anybody help me out? It's like, well, why did you buy it if you're just going to sell it? Why are you buying an item if you're just going to sell it? That's the difference between being a collector and being a reseller. Like collecting and then being a collector. So are you a collector because you buy stuff, you collect it to then sell on to make more money, or to make money, or are you someone who has a collect or likes to collect for their own personal enjoyment? The amount of Facebook posts that I see from people showing off these huge, ridiculously fancy, like limited edition releases of movies on 4K that are still sealed, that are like, oh, I've got it, I paid this amount for it, I want to get this amount for it. It's like, well, why did you buy it in the first place if you are just going to sell it on a year or so down the line when it's out of print? It's not like buying a Rolex watch where it's an investment, or an expensive high-end watch where it's an investment. A Blu-ray release or a 4K release is only valuable until the next version comes out, and then that version is going to then be the one that people are going to want. So it'll drop the value of the previous release way down, and then people are going to be like, I can't believe I paid 250 quid for this when it's like $75 now, or 75 quid now. It's like, have a bit of sense when it comes to purchasing movies. I know we want to support as many Blu-ray companies as we possibly can, because we don't want physical media to disappear. But they're taking us for fucking chumps. Like, literally, like, I pointed this out in the last stream, or in a video before, where, like, Arrow have released Deep Blue Sea. Now, I'm not a fan of Deep Blue Sea. I don't think it's a very good film, and I made that abundantly clear. They released Deep Blue Sea in 4K for $30 or for 30 quid, which is far too expensive. Like, you shouldn't be paying 30 quid for one movie. It's not a fucking vinyl record. In fact, you shouldn't even be paying 30 quid for a vinyl record. Now, when they say, oh, it's a limited edition, yeah, it's limited to about 300,000. That's not limited. That's a run of like edition. That's a run. Limited is like 1,000 copies of something, not 30,000 copies. Because if you can get it like in HMV on day of release and then still get it like 3 months down the line on Amazon for the same price, or on like Rare Waves or something like that for the same price that it was, or even through Amazon, not through Amazon, through Arrow themselves. But then you've also got the US release of it, because it's released simultaneously in the UK and in the US, because it's a double release. Like, it's not limited edition, and it's not a rare movie. So why panic buy at like release date because you want the shiny packaging? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand the need for people to go absolutely bonkers over a movie. I mean, if you enjoy the film, that is unbelievably fair, but don't moan about a film once it comes out, because like, you wanted this film, you wanted this movie on Blu-ray or 4K, but you haven't watched it. You've just sold it on because you think you're going to make more money off it. That's not keeping physical media going. That's just like reselling. You're now a reseller. It doesn't make any sense to me. And like, as a person who collects movies to watch, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I was talking about the whole difference in community, and how it's like each community has like a different subset of well, not a different subset, but has different areas of collecting. You've got a lot of people who are kind of like, I don't really know how to say it without coming across as a dickhead, but it's incredibly toxic. Like, and I just, yeah, it's just for me, I find it really, really toxic. I am a film collector first and foremost. I'm not a media collector. Well, I'm a media collector, but the reason I buy the media is for the film, not for all the crap that comes with it. Yeah, it's nice to have that. It's nice to have it. That's why I've got, well, I did have like 9,000 DVDs, and I've got rid of a massive chunk of them because I was buying film after film after film after film back when DVD was out and it was really, really cheap. Now, these are movies that the only reason I got rid of them is because I didn't have the space for them to store them all. I mean, I showed in the old videos, like back about a year ago when I was in the house, the amount of stuff that I had. I went through 10 bags, I think it was. I think there was 10 parts to me going through my DVD collection. I didn't even finish that because there was so much. Like, I didn't even finish going through every single DVD because there was so much, because there was still stuff in cupboards, there was still stuff in boxes under the bed and everything. So the amount of movies that I had, I bought them through... well, the reason I bought them was because they were, at the time, this is the reason that I struggled with the amount of movies that I had, and when it came to shifting them, I struggled, was because I bought a lot of stuff because it was cheap, and I ended up with a lot of crap. And so when we moved, I kind of got rid of a lot of stuff that was just taking up space that just wouldn't sell. So I sold a lot to CEX because I had a lot of sort of not rare, but films that were generally considered out of print, and they were out of print because they weren't films that I kind of watched anymore. I sold the majority of the Shameless collection that I had. I think I've only got 2 or 3 of them. Old white box Arrow video DVDs, not the Blu-rays. I did sell quite a few of those as well, actually. Mainly because they were stuff that I bought on a whim because of it being Arrow, and I wanted to support them at the start, which I did. I bought pretty much every release that they put out, even the Giallo stuff, which I'm not even a fan of Giallo movies. The Dario Argento stuff as well. I say the Dario Argento stuff as well, but a lot of the Italian movies that they released in the early years, like Zombie Flesh Eaters and and the Italian stuff that Shameless put out as well. So I was trying to support these really small independent DVD labels because they were putting out movies that I kind of wanted to see for myself that weren't available on streaming, because when they started, streaming wasn't really a thing. Like Netflix was barely a thing. There was no Disney Plus, there was no Shudder. You had Prime Video, but Prime Video then was barely anything compared to what it is now. So these movies that you could only get on piss poor, massively cut VHS transfers on Vipco DVDs, you now had in a like original aspect ratio, original like Italian audio, not dubbed over audio, that were in really nice presentations, and they were at a really good like price point. So like $12.99 for a DVD, $13.99 for a DVD for like a 2-disc special edition Arrow DVD, and that's why I wanted to support them. And I have supported them, and I've kept supporting them up until like Xavi bought them, and then they just started kind of re-releasing the same stuff over and over again, but in different versions. So you've got maybe 3 different versions or 3 different releases of the Beyond, the Lucio Fulci zombie film. You've got The House by the Cemetery, which was a re-release again, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 version, that got a second release. And when they started re-releasing stuff, but they hadn't really changed anything. So they re-released, apart from maybe a 4K upscale instead of, well, not upscale, 4K remaster instead of a 2K remaster or a high definition master. Like most of the special features were exactly the same. Steelbooks, again, I hate steelbooks. I think they're a waste of money, and I think people who spend the extra maybe 15 to 20 quid on a steelbook need to get their fucking head seen to, because it's ridiculously high just for a metal case. I've got a couple of steelbooks. I don't buy them. The only reason I bought them was because they were on offer, and it was the only way at the time to get those movies, like Return of the Living Dead. I've got the steelbook of that. I've got the steelbook of what have I got the steelbook of? Dick Tracy, because it's the only release that Dick Tracy has had on Blu-ray in the UK is via a steelbook. What else have I got up there? Reanimator, the second sight release of Reanimator. I've got that on steelbook because it's Reanimator. I wanted to get Reanimator on day of release because I loved Reanimator. I'd seen it multiple times before on DVD, which I had the Image Entertainment Region 1. Is it Image Entertainment? No, Elite Entertainment, the Region 1 DVD that had like it was a thick box. It was green. It was really cool. It was a great release from the States, but it was only available via, I think it was Vipco here in the UK, and it was terrible quality. It was probably cut. So when these films then get put through the BBFC, they get either reclassified at different ages. Like you look at like the pricing on certain stuff, and now there's lots of movies that I regret buying, but they're ones that I've sold on. Like I said, I bought like a huge amount of the Shameless Entertainment releases in the UK that cost quite a bit, and the reason I picked them up was due to peer pressure and obviously wanting to support smaller labels compared to people like Warner Brothers and Universal and stuff like that. And I got myself into quite a bit of debt, not necessarily just because of Shameless and Arrow, but I got myself into quite a bit of debt due to me getting a credit card so I could fill out the DVD collection. And that's why my DVD collection got so big. Now, I'm not in any debt anymore. That's not the issue. But I got myself into debt through my inability to prevent myself from spending money. Have we got any? So yeah, it's a hard life when you're a physical media collector. But again, it's like anything that you enjoy, you will sort of get an addiction to. It's the same with like Pokemon cards. People will spend a fortune on Pokemon cards, on retro gaming stuff. But pacing yourself is the best way that I found to prevent myself from going overboard, and just limiting myself to certain movies that I've got instead of going in blind. That's why I don't blind buy anymore. Instead of going in blind, I do my research beforehand to make sure that I know about the film, I know the plot, I've watched the trailer and stuff. My research generally is like, if there's a film that I want to watch, or if there's a film that I hear about that I want to find out about, that I want to see, I will watch the trailer on YouTube. I will read articles and reviews about it. I will then weigh up the cost effectiveness of where to get the DVD or maybe the Blu-ray from. So it generally will either be me watching the trailers on YouTube's and video reviews, or kind of missed gem movies, if you know what I mean, videos. But then I'll also like I said, I'll read reviews, and I'll scour through people's blogs and stuff just to find like the right review that goes into that movie in detail before I then spend the money on that film. So something like what was the film that I did a lot of research on before I bought? I can't even think of it now. But most of the stuff I buy now is stuff that I'm either replacing or upgrading. I don't tend to buy anything new that I haven't seen, apart from maybe stuff from Indicator, because they do a lot of really, really good old movies that are very difficult, that were at one point very difficult to get hold of, and now they're getting released in really well cared for not repackages, but remasters, and putting a lot of love and stuff into it. I don't think there's ever been any quality control issues with the Powerhouse Indicator movie. I haven't personally come across any yet, but there are a few on that label that I've picked up on Blu-ray, because DVD just wasn't, the quality on the DVD just wasn't what I was expecting it to be. Well, not expecting it to be, just wasn't as good as it could have been. So something like Devil in a Blue Dress, the DVD is okay. It's from Sony Pictures International, Sony TriStar, or Sony Columbia TriStar, I can't remember. It was ages I bought that now. Powerhouse Indicator released Devil in a Blue Dress in a remastered high definition 1080p version. Great 1950s or 1940s set crime drama with Denzel Washington. Such a good movie. Another really good one from them is The Eyes of Laura Mars. The John Carpenter movies that they've released, like Ghosts of Mars, which isn't a great movie, and John Carpenter's Vampires, and Christine. Christine's a great movie. I had the Shout Factory release of Christine for ages, but there were so many issues with that disc. It would cut to black when it shouldn't have. It would stop halfway through and go back to the main menu, and this is through a Region A player, so the quality control on that was shockingly bad. So there was a time when I did do a lot of blind buying and picking up movies that were recommendations as blind buy. So I would go to a forum called Cult Labs, which I think is still going. I've not been there in about 4 years. The last time I went, I just checked in to see how it was going. that was one of the probably the main contributing factor to me getting into debt, was because a lot of people were recommending these movies, so I would seek these films out. Films that I regret buying because people were talking about how amazing they were are things like The Bronx, 1990, The Bronx Warriors, fucking awful movie. Its sequel, awful, and the third one after that is not great, but it's more watchable than the others. But taking people's advice, not advice, but recommendations on movies and going in blind is not the best idea. You shouldn't really listen to everyone, because everyone's tastes are going to be different to yours. So a lot of the stuff that was talked about through Cult Labs was Italian exploitation movies, like Poliziotteri movies and the cannibal movies, the zombie movies from the late 70s and the early 80s, stuff like Dr. Butcher MD and Zombie Flesh Eaters. What else is there? Something like The Creeping Flesh or something like that. They, like, apart from Zombie Flesh Eaters, which is actually a pretty decent movie, the majority of the films that I bought and watched, I fucking hated because they were so badly made. Like, I see that Grindhouse are releasing a 6-disc 4K release of Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Now, why does The Beyond need 6 discs? It doesn't need 6 discs. It needs maybe the Blu-ray and maybe 3. So you've got a Blu-ray with the movie, you've got a Blu-ray with the special features, and then you've got the 4K with the movie, the 4K with the special features, or the Blu-ray with the special features, and the Blu-ray with the movie on. So 3 discs is absolutely fine. 6 discs is fucking pushing it, and then asking a massive premium price for it. And this is for Americans. This is because this film's not getting shipped outside of the States, from what I can hear. And then you're seeing all these things, people moaning about it. Can't believe they're not shipping outside of the States. So, this is the problem. People are so fixated on getting like the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, and then moaning that they can't get the best of the best of the best of the best of the best because it's in a different country. But then I guarantee at some point a company like Second Sight or a company like Arrow, who have, I believe, released The Beyond like 4 times now, I'm not sure, they are most likely going to do the same thing again, because that tends to be what happens. They'll then license the special features from Grindhouse releasing. They'll do like maybe a 4 or 5 disc set, which you'll be able to get no problem. It'll probably have way better artwork as well. But it's just it's the toxic way that people believe that they're owed something that really gets on my nerves. Like, you're not owed anything at all. You're giving your money for a product. Like, if I went to Tesco or I went to Asda and bought a pizza and then ate that pizza, enjoyed that pizza, and then found out that they were stopping that pizza because it wasn't a big seller or because it was for a limited time only, I'm not going to go to Asda and go, you owe me that pizza. I bought one of them from you a couple of weeks ago and I really enjoyed it, so you owe me that pizza. It's the same thing. Like, they do not owe you anything. They are a business, and that business is there to make money, and they do not care about their customers. No business cares about their customers. They care about money, especially when it comes to physical media, stuff like vinyl and Blu-ray and 4K and stuff like that. Like, if studios and labels gave a shit about their customers, then the UK would we'd be getting all the Paramount stuff. We'd be getting stuff from Disney on Blu-ray and 4K. We'd be getting stuff from Sony and Universal and Warner Brothers. We'd be getting all that stuff on Blu-ray because they would want to please their customers. But they don't. They're just making money. They just want to make money. And yeah, that's really fucking pisses me off. I don't know if anyone's chatting. No, I'm not really. I'm just chatting bollocks. Just chatting bollocks and moaning. Because that's all I seem to do these days. Hey, Johnny. Kian, I'm not thinking of buying those Kill Bill steelbooks because I think it's a waste of money. Same with Jackie Brown. If they release them as standard releases or in a slip case or something, I might think of it. But as it stands, I will not be buying the 4K steelbooks because steelbooks are a rip-off. Sup, Johnny? Yeah, not a fan. I know I've moaned about stuff. I moan a lot. I do moan a lot. When I was talking about toxicness as well, I mean, I see it from the UK community as well. Not so much. It's not really toxic. It's not really a toxic behavior. It's more of a lot of channels that are dedicated to physical media. All they do is complain about collecting physical media. And every video seems to be about collecting physical media, but also them moaning about collecting physical media. Phil with a double L, really good channel. But every single video he does, he moans about his collection and about selling his collection and about taking up space with his collection. But that seems to be every single video he does, is just him buying more stuff and moaning about the other stuff that is in his collection. I don't get it. I mean, I like Phil. I like Phil's stuff. I like his really early stuff as well. But as it's gone on, every single video is, are we collecting too much? Why do we collect? What can I do with my shelves and stuff? Just enjoy the films. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. That's the whole point of collecting films, is to enjoy the movies, not to moan about having a million movies or no room for it. If you've got no room for it, sell them. That's fair. But you don't have to make a 15-minute video about you selling your collection. Just buy your movies, enjoy your movies. That's yeah. I mean, like I said, I like Phil. I like Phil's videos. I like the early stuff that he did. I think he's pushing the amount of content that he's doing about literally just complaining about his movie collection all the time now. I don't get it. We're supposed to love physical media. Yeah, everybody seems to fucking hate it. Yeah. I'm trying to think, who else is there? Well, what else is there in the UK? Oh, and Blu-ray hunts. I fucking hate. I said this before. I hate Blu-ray hunt videos. You're not hunting for anything. You're just going shopping. There is no hunt. There is no hunt. You are going and browsing, and if you find something that you want, fair enough. But we don't need a Blu-ray hunt video every week of you going to the same CEX store or the same HMV and picking up a film on Blu-ray or 4K and going, ooh, in my hunt today. It's no, you didn't hunt. You went to a shop and found a movie that you wanted. It's I fucking hate Blu-ray hunts. There's a very big difference between a Blu-ray hunt and what Kermit's Ghost does. Kermit's Ghost, Alan, great channel. I watch his stuff every Monday morning because he shows what is out on release on that day. Doesn't necessarily buy every single release that it comes out, which is really cool because he's basically informing us what is out on those days. So if you want to go and buy them, you can go buy them. There are films that I want to buy on day of release. There are films that I've pre-ordered in the past on day of release. The biggest one that I wanted was Panic in Year Zero because it's a film that I absolutely adore, and I was surprised when Radiance announced that they were releasing it, that it was getting a release in the UK. Had to pre-order it, had to upgrade my DVD. Same with Planet of the Vampires, another fantastic release by Radiance. What Alan does is not necessarily a Blu-ray hunt. He goes and he does price comparisons and just tells us what is released on a Monday here in the UK, that is an invaluable service to movie collectors, because without that, I wouldn't have known certain film had been released, or I wouldn't have known how much the difference between the price in CEX, the price in HMV, and the price on Amazon would be. So that's really cool. That's a very, very invaluable service to movie collectors and physical media collectors. But like going out every Monday or once every week to go to 30 different CEX stores in the area, or HMV, to go on a Blu-ray hunt, that annoys the hell out of me. This is probably why I'm not really part of the fucking physical media community. Is because everything pisses me off. But then I'm 40, I'm allowed to be grumpy. Like, my thing, and I've made this clear so many goddamn times, is that movie should always come first. The film should always come first. The stuff that you get extra is a bonus. But always focus on the movie. Do not focus on the packaging. Focus on the movie. Like I've got Titanic on Blu-ray. That's about as far as I'm going with Titanic. I don't care that there's a limited edition, or there was a very, very limited edition big box release of Titanic on 4K. Don't care. Really don't care. I've got it on Blu-ray. That's about as far as I'm going. The only James Cameron, I think it's the only James Cameron films that I've got on 4K. So I've got True Lies on 4K because it never had a Blu-ray release in the UK, so gonna get it on 4K. Found it in CEX for how much did I find it? I think it was £19.99 or £19. I think it was. Just browsing one day because where I used to live, there was a CEX right around the corner from me. It was a 2-second walk from my old house. I picked up True Lies because it's a great movie. Really wanted to get a high def version of it. There it was. I didn't go hunting for it. I just saw it there. And I've got Avatar 2 on 4K because again that was a cheap find in CEX one day when I was just browsing. So this is what I was saying in one of the videos. I said movie shopping for me, which is why I don't do Blu-ray hunt videos, is movie shopping for me is really, really personal. It's my time by myself to do something that I absolutely adore, and I love doing something. It is a personal thing. I refuse to buy steelbooks anymore because it's just not worth it, or I really, really have to like it. Yes, Creatora 123, I agree with you there. It's not worth it. It's not. It's a way of getting more money out of people because it's in a metal. It's not even metal. It's like an aluminium box, and they dent easily, and they scratch easily. From personal experience, I bought a copy of a movie on Steelbook. I think it was Byzantine, which is a Neil Jordan vampire movie. I bought it brand new. That was a blind buy as well, by the way. That was a blind buy. Never seen it before, but I knew it had Gemma Arterton in it, and I really liked her as an actress. So I was like, yeah, I'll grab that. And it sat on my shelf for a while. I went to take it off. Well, I went to take the film out that was next to it, and because it was still sealed, it got caught. Basically, the plastic was stuck due to static on the one that was next to it. As I pulled it out, it dropped out, fell on the floor, the corner dented, and the spine kind of split a little bit. And see, if that was just a regular Amaray case, you can replace the Amaray case for next to nothing because they're cheap as chips. But it wasn't. It was a steelbook. Which then, obviously, if you're a collector, you know that it is any damage to a steelbook that is classed as a collector's edition or something, any damage to it will then drop the value. Personally, couldn't give a fuck about the value of it. I paid nothing for it. I paid barely anything for it. It was cheap as chips, like I said. And now it's probably worth 25 quid. Don't care. Don't have it anymore. And I couldn't replace the steel case because you can't do that. You can't replace the case because it's a specifically made item for that product, whereas most Blu-rays and 4Ks that come in Amaray cases that if there is an issue with the case, you can buy replacement cases. Same with CDs. Maybe not so much with vinyl. Obviously, you can't really replace the vinyl sleeve because that is a part of the product, but the Amaray case of a Blu-ray and a 4K can easily be replaced. But yeah, people kind of annoy me when it comes to stuff like steelbooks, because steelbooks are a gimmick. They always have been, and it's one reason I don't buy them, because I don't care for them as a product. I think one of the big reasons I don't like steelbooks is because it hikes the price of stuff up, because it is in a steelbook. Now people have got this gorgeous steelbook. When it comes to packaging and stuff, I know I made an entire video about why I don't care about packaging, but when it comes to packaging, right, when a film is made, it has promotional artwork commissioned by artists, or if it's done in-house, it's done by Photoshop experts and stuff, and who know how to composite and do really good looking artwork. If you look at all the movies pre the 90s that had artwork, if you go to, there's a really great website called the Imp Awards, which has scans of original poster artwork. If you look at the artwork that is produced for movies compared to the artwork, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, compared to the promotional artwork and posters and stuff that were commissioned in the 90s up until now, the fact that we are still getting shit photoshopped covers on re-releases of studio movies by studios is absolutely ridiculous, considering that there is pre-made fantastic artwork that you can just pick up. Let me grab. So this is the Drew Struzan Over. This is a book of artwork that was made by Drew Struzan for different movies. If you know who Drew Struzan is, you'll see his artwork on a lot of different movies. This book is incredible, by the way. It just features all the stuff that he's done that has appeared on movie posters and DVD artwork and stuff like that. Like the artwork for Squirm. Look at that. That's so good. That is so good. And I think that was on the Arrow Blu-ray of Squirm. Like the stuff he did for Star Wars is absolutely gorgeous. Like the hand-painted Star Wars artwork is just like amazing. But then what did Disney do when they start making Star Wars movies? They start photoshopping image covers, and it just makes no sense as to why. Look, Indiana Jones. Look at that. That is just insane artwork. So I don't understand why, when it comes to like steelbooks and like general releases, that studios can't use the artwork that they have commissioned. They own that artwork. I've done freelance artwork for people in the past, and I have sold artwork. People have commissioned me for artwork for businesses, so they are purchasing that image. So my price for that image is going to be higher than if they just commission me for like a one-off thing. If someone is commissioned me for a piece of art to be used on banners and business cards and like a book cover or something like that, then they are buying a piece of art from me. Once they have bought that piece of art, they own it. I don't own it anymore. I just drew it. So I don't understand why studios who own these pieces of artwork, these incredible hand-painted, hand-drawn posters that they displayed prominently in cinema, in theatres for decades and decades and decades, cannot use the original artwork that was commissioned for that movie that people are familiar with on their physical media products. Why do they have to use Photoshop images? It doesn't make any sense to me. Have you got any more questions? Probably not. People. Where are we? There we are. Let's go back to this. But yeah, this is me just moaning as a live. I didn't want to do this as a video. I thought I'd do it live. I'm gonna call it quits in a minute because I need a fag and I'm not allowed to smoke inside the flat. I also need to pee. So, yeah, I'm going to call it quits. Thanks everyone for watching. My name is Pedro. This is Pedro's Movie Cavern. I will do this again at some point, but I will do it where I'm not drinking liquids and needing to pee. So, yeah, thanks everyone. Cheers. Peace out. I'm going to end the stream now.